What's up guys, this is part 2 of how to build a modern to-do app using Figma, React, and Typescript. Now before we start working on the list component, let's first work on the list navigation component. That way we have a means to navigate between our different views, which are completed, in progress, and removed, like this one from our Figma design. So we open up list navigation index.tsx, and in here we're going to start working on building our HTML. So we first define div class name equals list navigation dash ellipses, yeah. And this div, we're gonna capture on click, and we're gonna pass handle list navigation ellipses click. So we're gonna define a method, a callback method, which we're gonna pass up in here, and we're gonna say handle list navigation excuse me, click, ellipsis click, and that is going to be I'm going to define what that is. Handle list navigation ellipses click, right? And that is gonna be a function that returns nothing, and the event is going to be a mouse event. So we're going to define import mouse event here from React. This is going to be a mouse event for the HTML div element, which is what we have here, that one. Okay, and then right below it, or the children, it's going to be div class name equals list navigation dash ellipses. So it's going to be a child of the ellipses div, and state is default, and another one for hovered. So now if we go back to the Figma design, in here it's going to be this ellipses that we're going to use. So this is going to be the hovered state. So we can just right click, copy this as an SVG, paste that here, fix the indentation, clear that up, view box height, right? Okay, that looks good. And this one, we have to move that in, and then go back again, change the color to this gray color, which is C4 right there, C4. So that is, I believe, this one up. No, C4, or we can just manually type that in. I think it's either one of these. C4, enter. Now we can just copy that, right click, copy paste, copy as SVG, go back to the code. This is the default state. Default state, it's going to be grayed out, and when you hover over it, that's when it turns into that dark color. So okay, so now we have C4, we have 4E, C4 here, and then darker here. Next one is we're gonna define the sibling of the ellipses. Is we're gonna define the unordered list, which is gonna be the view. This list navigation items. which is the view items, which is gonna be this one. So we're gonna define an ordered list, and we're gonna say class name equals list navigation dash items. Within that unordered list, we're gonna do so we're gonna pass items up here. That's gonna come from list, the list component. So items is gonna have a shape from our interface. Remember, our interface items is an object with these properties: completed, in progress, and removed. So we're going to define all of those three. So completed, or actually, we can just copy all these up here. Completed, right there. And now we can use that here. So object.get own property names. So for items, for the items object, property names, which are going to be completed, in progress, and removed. And then we're going to map through that and then say those are the view names. For each view name, we're going to create a list item. So this list item, we're going to pass different properties. So we're going to pass the data, the view name, data view name equals view name. So we can use that when we start clicking on those view name item. And then key is going to be same thing, view name. Class name here, we can define an array, list navigation dash items dash name. And here we're gonna say the existing or the current view that is displayed. So we're gonna pass the view here and view here up here at the top, and that is gonna be from our interface. View is gonna be an object that receives or has a property of open and selected. So now we can unpack that here in this function. So constant is going to be open and selected equals view. So that comes from the parent, which is open and selected, right? Open selected. So open selected, and now we can use that here at the bottom for the object get property names. So we can do selected if the selected view or the selected view name, if they both match the selected item, the current view, and the iterated. So there's going to be 3 items there. If it's the current view that is selected, we're going to say list navigation dash items dash name is selected, and we're going to use that for the CSS. We can adjust that in the CSS later. Type string is not assignable to type string. Okay, so we'll fix that in a bit. And in here, now we're gonna say the view name is, if it's in progress, then say in progress, else it's gonna be view name. Okay, so class name, the array, and then we're gonna say, so this is supposed to return a string. So right now we have an array, so it's complaining, but we're gonna fix that now. So let's filter class name has to be Boolean. It only returns those items that are true. and let's join them. Let's turn them into string by space. So I mean, we can simplify this class name instead of doing this filter and join with just using there's a yarn package called class name. We can use that, but I prefer it to be simple. Instead of using this package, I mean, I don't want to include this in the project, so because I'm just basically doing some simple CSS class name toggles, so this will do. This will work. Okay. And then lastly, for this list item, we're going to define an event handler on the click handle list navigation item click, and we're going to define that at the top. So here, handle list navigation item click, and define what that is. So it's going to be an event, and event is mouse event. So when you click it with the mouse, and it's going to be for the HTML list element, which returns void. Okay, so now we're also going to define CSS class name here, like the array that we did at the bottom. So we're going to check, because we're going to use that for doing some hiding, showing elements. So list navigation, and here we're going to do, if it's currently open, we're going to say list navigation with the open state. And again, we're going to do that not join. We're going to do the filter first, dot filter, only the ones that are defined. So boolean class name, because this can return false. So if it's false, we're not going to return that. So if this is false, it's going to return false. So we don't want that item or that class name to be printed to the element. So only do the ones that are true, and then join them all together. So, and here, there you go. So that should be good. One last check. Let's see, on click handle list, object properties, and view name is in progress. Yeah, okay, I think that looks good. So now we can define its styles first. Okay, so in here, since we have list navigation, which is this class name, list navigation, we're gonna do list navigation. In here, we're gonna do position absolute, top 40 pixel, right 40 pixel, and here the children or direct child of it is ellipses. So ampersand dash ellipses. The ellipses is going to be position absolute, right 0, z index 2. Display is going to be inline dash block, margin 0. Padding is going to be 5 pixels top bottom and 10 pixels left right. Cursor is going to be pointer. Now we're going to define the hover state. Hover for the ampersand default state. We're going to display none. Hover for hovered, we're going to display block, and ampersand dash hovered, display none. And now we're going to define the items. Excuse me. So this is adjacent to ellipses, a sibling of ellipses right there. So yeah. So right next to it is the unordered list navigation items. So ampersand dash items, display none at first because we don't want it to be shown, only when we hover over or we click it. Position is going to be relative. Z index is going to be 1. List style type is none. Margin is going to be 28 pixel top, 0, 0, 0. Top, right, bottom, left is going to be 0. Padding is going to be 0. Background is going to be white. Box shadow is going to be 0 pixel, 2 pixel, 10 pixel, 1 pixel. And RGBA is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0.15%. Border radius, box shadow, border radius is going to be 5 pixel, 0, 5, 5. Okay. Within the items, there's going to be list navigation items dash name. So within here, we're going to do ampersand dash name. Cursor is pointer. Margin is 0. Padding is 10 pixel, 20 pixels. Text align is center. Text transform is capitalized. Font size is 16 pixels. Color is gray, B7, B7. Border dash bottom is going to be 1 pixel solid, ED. So this all comes from the Figma. I have it somewhere, so I already know the values. Selected, which is going to be inside this one. So if it's the currently selected, and ampersand hover dot list navigation dash items dash name is selected. We're gonna say color is the blue color. This is for the selected view, right? So it's gonna be ampersand 3D 82 EB, and then next to it is hover. Color is gonna be 4E. Okay, and outside of that, we're gonna do the open right next to that one, which is hover over here. So the open, which is here, list navigation, and then when it is open, right, list navigation, and when you are open, so it's going to be here, dash open, which is a state, so 2 dashes. We're going to say list navigation dash ellipses. Background is white. Box shadow is gonna be 0 pixel, 0, 6 pixels, 1 pixel. RGBA is 0, 0, 0, 0.15%, and border radius is gonna be 5 pixels, left, right, bottom, bottom right, bottom left. And we're going to define after. This is going to be content So this is for the without, because I need to like put a white line in here to make an illusion that it looks seamless. Because right now without the after pseudo, it'll look like two elements. So one is this, and it does have a box shadow, and the other one is this box, which also has a box shadow. So the after pseudo element is gonna cover that part. It's gonna be placed in here, which is where we're gonna define right now. So content is empty, position is gonna be absolute, bottom is -10 pixels, right is 0, width is 120%, height is 10 pixels, background color, yeah, it's gonna be white. Okay, and outside of that, we're gonna do ampersand hovered, display is block, and here next to it is gonna be when it's default. Oops. Default. When it's default, display none. Okay, and then right outside, which is gonna be here. So right over here. Dot list navigation dash items display block. Okay. So save that. Okay, list navigation. Okay. Next, we're gonna add list navigation. Actually, we're gonna add it to the to-do component, not to the list component. The only child element that we're gonna add to list will be the new item. The rest, footer, calendar, list, and list navigation, we're all gonna add them to the to-do. So from list, let's start building this component. So first we go to the content, the body, and here we have the list in progress already in place. We're gonna define different states to this so we can update the class name. We're gonna transform this into an array, which is gonna be that one. So list in progress. The next one is when you're selected, and selected is in progress. We're gonna say list in progress show, and then we're gonna define selected here. It's constant selected, which is we're gonna pull from view, and again we're gonna define all of those up here. So the ones that we defined in list navigation items and view, we're just gonna copy this, paste those here, items, view, right? So selected is we pulled that from view, and we're also gonna unpack completed, in progress, and removed from items from this object right there. So if selected is in progress, write this class name. Okay. Next, we're gonna do what we did with the filter and dot join. Filter, if the class name is not undefined or false, we're only gonna select those items. And now we're gonna do dot join, then with space. Okay. All right. Now here, right after, we're gonna do make the in progress list. So in progress dot map. So we're gonna loop through the array of in progress items. So we're going to do item and index, and here we're going to do list, return a list item. And for the list item, we're going to define some properties here. So class name is going to be an array of class names. First is list in progress item, and if completed includes, the completed array includes this item, then let's add list in progress completed class name. Copy this. Now if removed includes item, list in progress removed. So we're going to use these class names to hide or show the that specific list item from the list depending on its current state. And then we're going to do dot filter, again class name boolean class name dot join it with space. Okay, and we also need to provide the key, which is going to be the index right there, just so those list elements are uniquely ID'd by React. Here we're going to define a div. We're going to define its properties. Data-index is index. Class name is going to be a list in progress item complete. And on click, we're going to define handler callback handle list item complete. So that we're going to define here at the top. Handle list item complete. Handle with a comma. Of course, list item complete is going to be an event of mouse event for the HTML div element that we defined, and returns void. So there's no mouse event here. Let's add that in there. Okay. Next, we're gonna define the contents of children in here. List in progress item complete. Just gonna be div class name list in progress item dash complete default state, and hovered state again complete. So this is the icon for the complete, so we can just pull that from here. This is the hovered. Copy as SVG. Okay, CB. Or actually, sorry, this is for the completed icon. This is what we need. So this is for the in progress. So because we're talking about this item, this list item right here. So when you hover over this icon, so it's going to be the default state is just the solid border, and when it's that's the default state. When you hover over it, it's going to have that solid background color, which is this one. So this is the hovered state. Copy this, copy as SVG, go back here, hovered state, fix indentation there, move this in. At the end, fix this property name to make React happy. And then the default state doesn't include this fill, so let's just hide that. And then press escape, drag to select, right click, copy paste, copy as SVG, go back to the code, paste that here, the default, indent, go to stroke width, yeah, fix the naming, there you go. Alright, so that's all settled. Next is gonna be the item edit. We're gonna work on the item edit. So div class name list in progress dash item dash edit. So we have the icons here. Right. Next is the input box, which is this one. That's the input box. So here we're gonna do item edit, and we're gonna have an input field and pass some properties to it. Data dash index is gonna be index. Default value is gonna be the item. Type is text. On key up, handle list item edit on key up, and ref similar to the new item, set list item edit input ref. Define these functions or methods. So it's what did we say? Handle list item edit on key up, handle list item edit, so that should go here. Handle list item edit on key up, handle list item edit on key up is gonna be an event which returns event. It's just gonna be a keyboard event. Keyboard event, HTML input element. Okay, and set list item edit input ref, set list LMN alphabetically, set list item edit input ref, right? Set list item edit input ref is gonna be function element is HTML input element again, or null, which returns nothing, so void. Okay, so let's see, now we have the item edit. Right next to the item edit, we're gonna do the remove, right? So we have the input field, we have the icon, we have the mark as complete button. Input field, right next to it is the remove button. So div class name equals list in progress item remove, list in progress item remove. All right, put some space. Okay, space that, pass in the index, data dash index. We can use that later when we work on the to-do component. So we know that item. On click, we're going to define a method, handle callback, handle list item remove, and that handle list item remove, we're going to define that here up the top. Handle list item remove, that's going to be here. R, yeah, CER. Handle list item remove is going to be a function, nothing. and handle list item remove is event mouse event for HTML div element. Okay. All right. So, okay. So now we have, let's see, what are the elements that we have so far? We're still on the list complete, handle list item remove, handle list item edit. Now we're gonna do, we're gonna do the these buttons right here. So we're gonna define the div for those individual icons. So list in progress item dash remove the default state, and copy that, paste that here. Hovered state remove default state is this one, right? Right click, copy paste, copy as SVG, go back. That's the default state. Indent, move over. Content of SVG, indent it. Stroke width, fix the class names, the property names. And then we go back to this one and modify this. When we hover over, this has to be let's see, trying to select, there you go. So when you hover over, it has to be solid, and the X has to be white. Oh, there you go. That's good. Right click, copy paste, copy as SVG. Hovered state, paste that there. Indent, and then fix the property name. This is a React, yeah. So so React won't complain. Next, right after the new item, we're gonna work on the list completed. So let's start working on this. We're gonna pass an array of class names. Okay, here list completed. If selected is true and equals completed, let's print list completed show. Do the filter, class name, there's class name that's true, return that, otherwise don't show it. So, and then join is join it with space. Okay, that looks good. It should be fine. There you go. And in here, we're gonna excuse me, we're gonna iterate through the completed array, completed.map item and index. We're gonna do return a list item. List item will have class name property of list completed dash item. Key is index, and within this list item, so this is for the completed list. So now this is the one that's gonna have this check mark icon. So we can just go ahead and already select this item, right click, copy paste that, copy as SVG. First we have to add div class name equals list completed dash item dash check. Put in here, just drop that in there. indent. Now we need to fix all these dashes. So we just do camel case. All right. And then right next to it, it's gonna be div class name equals the name, the label, list completed dash item dash label, and this is gonna be the item, right? The name, which is that one. And then through CSS, we're just gonna do strike through to give that effect. Next, we're gonna work on the list item removed here. So similar. So array list item removed, if selected is true and equal to remove, list removed dash dash show. And here again, we're gonna do dot filter class name boolean class name, join it with space. Okay. All right, there you go. And then here, so now this is the removed items, remove.map item index function, which returns list. Did I put? Yes. Okay. So yeah, I was just looking for the parentheses. List item, and now class name equals list dash remove dash item. Key is index. So for each array item, we need to add the key index so React can uniquely identify each element. And here within the div, we're gonna do div, pass the data, the index through the data attribute index, data dash index is index, class name is gonna be list removed dash item dash restore. So we want the ability to restore an item to in progress when it's in removed. So, and then when we click it, it's supposed to call this callback handle list item removed restore, which the parent to do component is going to define later. What is it again? His list handle list item removed restore, handle list item removed restore. So that's going to be here. Removed restore is going to be there, and this handle list item removed restore is a method void, and event is going to be a mouse event for HTML div element. Okay. What else? So now we have that in place. We have the div. Now we're gonna do the icons. Div class name equals list remove item dash restore default. And of course we need the hovered state. So again, for that we just need this plus sign, which actually we already have from the new item, which is going to be right there. So we can just copy, since we're already here, we can just fix this indentation. So new item create icon default, so we can just use that. For the default is that one. And the hovered is this one. Push that in. All right. And right next to it, outside, we're going to define the label. List removed item label, and that is going to be item. Okay. So of course, React will complain that there's a bunch of stuff. TypeScript will complain that we declared other attributes to it, but we haven't defined them in the list yet, right there. Next, we're gonna define list those properties method properties that we declared here within the list component. But before we do that, let's just remove this text first. Let's not save it first because that will produce an error and this is gonna go away. So here we're gonna start passing the different properties that it requires, or different properties and parameters that it requires. So for items, we're gonna pass the items, and items can be retrieved from this dot state. So let's destructure that and pull items and view. View is going to be next. View is going to be view. Handle list item edit on key up. So handle list item edit on key up. Actually, this one first, complete. So let's just define that here. Even though it complains, that's fine. We're gonna define that at the top afterwards. Item remove. Remove restore. This dot. What else? So we have these three. We need this one, last one. Set list item. List, yeah, element. Okay. So, all right. So we have those. Now, let us start let's start adding them one by one. So handle list item complete. This dot handle list item complete is going to be this dot handle dot bind is this, and handle list item complete is going to be defined down here. Okay, so alphabetically, handle list item complete is going to have an event. So for this one, let's just put any for now, just a placeholder, because this is going to be pulling different properties, and we'll need, I'll just use a base synthetic event so it doesn't complain about that shape. But let's define the other ones first. Handle list item edit on key up. Handle list item edit on key up dot bind it with this for context. Don't break context. So this one, handle list item edit on key up. Again, event is any for now. Handle list item remove. Dot bind it with this. Handle list item remove event any. Removed restore. Event is any. lastly, set list item edit input ref. So for this one, we're going to do the one that we did similar to this, set new item input ref. So let's define that equals this dot set list item edit input ref dot bind it with this. We have new item there. So for the list item edit, we're gonna do this dot list item edit input is null. This list item edit input is gonna be the same as this one. And let's define that here. So same thing. Element is gonna be an HTML input element. Actually, we can just copy this. This is gonna be this one. So going back, list item edit input, it's gonna be an element. Okay. So now we're gonna work on these methods that we defined up here. Let me just go up. Handle list item complete, handle list item edit on key up, handle list item remove, and handle list item restore. But before we do that, I'll define here at the top keyboard event. I would also like to pass base synthetic event for those events, just generalized event shape. And now we can start working on handle list item complete, base synthetic event, constant, completed. So we need to unpack the stuffs from this.state.items, this.state.items, which contains completed, in progress, and removed. And then constant destructure index from event.target.dataset. So that's why I like to use the base synthetic event. I need to unpack this property. Constant index, and then let current index, the current index, there we go. If there's no current index, let's do constant icon parent. It's going to be event.target.closest .list in progress dash item dash complete. And if there's an icon parent, current index is gonna be the icon parent dot dataset dot index. This dot state dot items. Okay. Okay. Completed dot push. Then we push that into the array in progress. Current index, and save that to the state. Items is an array that accepts or requires completed, in progress, and then removed. Okay. So here we're basically just using, we're looking for the current index item. Oh, I saved it. Now it's complaining. Yeah, there's still some items that it's requesting or requiring. Let's see, what does it say? Items does not exist on type intrinsic attributes for list items. Oops, yeah. But since we haven't saved this yet, that's why. Okay, so there you go. Okay. All right. Build modern to do. yeah, we haven't styled list yet, but we'll do that in a bit. So now let's just keep working on the to do component first. Yeah, so this one, what this does is when we click the list item complete, we look for the data index of that element and then save that to the completed array. Okay, next, handle list item edit on key up. Event is gonna be base synthetic event and keyboard event, so it's a combination of those two for HTML input element. Okay, and in here we're gonna do constant index is gonna be event.target.data set. Okay, constant value, we need to get the value from event.target. And then constant, we need to unpack completed, in progress, and removed from this. Again, this.state.items. In progress, index. We need to get the value of that in progress item and save that. This.setState. This one is like this one, basically. And here at the bottom, we're gonna check for the key entered if it's the enter key. Constant is enter key pressed is equal to if the key is true and equal to enter. And here we're gonna do the condition if it's not enter key that has been pressed, don't do anything. Otherwise, this.handle list item complete, and we pass the event to it, which is just gonna flow. This is just gonna flow down here, and this goes there, and this saves that item, marks that complete as well. Okay. Next is handle list item remove. It's going to be base synthetic event. Constant, again, unpack completed, in progress, and removed from this.state.items. Handle list item removed. Constant index equals event.target.dataset to get the index value. Let current index be equal to index. This will be that. And list item complete. Yeah. If not current index, constant icon parent equals to event.target.closest. It's going to be list.list dash in progress dash item dash remove. If there's an icon parent, let's get the current index. Icon parent dot dataset dot index. Outside of the if, we're gonna push that item to the removed array. In progress, current index. Okay, and then set that state. This.set state is this one. Just copy that, paste that here. Makes it faster. Next, handle list item removed restore. Okay, so here, base synthetic event, constant completed, in progress, removed from this.state.items, constant index equals event.target.dataset. Okay, let current index be equal to index. If not current index, constant, similar to the ones above, constant icon parent equals event.target.closest list in progress dash item dash remove. If icon parent, let's set the current index be equal to icon parent.dataset.index. And then outside the if, remove dot splice current index. So let's remove that item from the removed array. And then this dot set state. So how I like to add and remove items is basically adding them to these arrays, basically to the completed, the in progress, and removed. That way we can track and not modify the other ones, the other like in progress and completed, for just for the data, just so we can see all the data. Okay. All right, so next part is going to be the list navigation. So we already have the list in place, but actually before we do the list navigation, let's start working on the style for the list first. So we'll fix this look. So let's do that list. Margin is 20 pixel, top bottom, and then 0 left right. Padding is 0. Position is relative. And then we have completed, in progress, removed, margin 0, negative 20 pixel, padding 0, width is 100%, list style type is none, display is none, and within here the item width is going to be 100%, display is flex, flex direction is going to be row, border dash bottom is going to be 1 pixel solid, sharp or pound sign ed, right? Last child, the last element doesn't have a border. Okay. Show display block, completed and removed, display none, 1, 2, and completed. It's going to have an item. Padding is going to be 15 pixel, 20, 11, 20 pixels. And we have a check. Padding is going to be 0 and 5 pixels. Outside of that, there's label, flex, 2, 1, 0. Padding is going to be 4 pixels, 0, 2 pixels, 20 pixels. font size is gonna be 18 pixels, width is gonna be 100%, color is gonna be 323232, text decoration dash line is line through. Okay. In progress, it's going to be an item. Padding is going to be 15 pixel by 20 by 5 by 20. Hover state. Cursor is going to be pointer. Background is going to be white. Box shadow is going to be 0 pixel by 3 pixels by 6 pixels, 1 pixels. RGBA is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0.15. Light black border dash radius is going to be 5 pixels. And after hover, complete, not completed, just complete. Padding is going to be 0 by 5 pixels. Hover for default. It's going to display none. Again, hover for hovered, display block, and the hovered is going to be display none. We have edit, flex to 1, 0, padding left is 20 pixel. Inside of that there's input, font size is 18, width is 100%, border is none, padding is 3 pixel by 0, color is 323232, outline is none, and then we have remove. Padding is 0, margin is -5 pixels by 0 by 0 by 10 pixels. Inside we have hover, default. We also have hovered. For default, it's going to display none. For hovered, it's going to display block, and hovered is going to display none. Okay. All right, so lastly, we're going to do removed. We have item. Padding is going to be 15 by 20 by 11 by 20. And then we have restore. Padding is 0 by 5 pixel and cursor is pointer. It's the restore icon, SVG. Hover for default is going to display none. Again, so it's just repetitive stuff. Hover for hovered is going to display block, and hovered is going to display none, and sibling of restore is label, flex to 1, 0, padding is 4 pixels, 0, 2 pixels, 20 pixels, font dash size is 18, width is 100%, and color is going to be 3232. All right, save. There we go. Next, we're gonna work on our list navigation, adding them to the to-do component. So if we go back here, we're gonna define our list navigation at the top. So from here, we're gonna do import list navigation from one folder up, list navigation. And at the bottom, we're gonna define our list navigation. List navigation. Our list navigation accepts items, accepts view. Oh, not item, view. It accepts handle list navigation ellipsis, click. This dot handle navigation ellipses, click. Right. It also handle list navigation item, click, and this dot handle navigation item, click. So let's define those. Handle list nav. So that's going to be here. The other one, item click. This is list navigation item click dot bind it with this. Okay, so we have those two defined, handle list navigation ellipses click. So now let's define those method right after removed restore. So okay, so we have this one, removed restore, this one, that's this event base synthetic. Let's just use base synthetic for this one. Constant open, and here we're gonna do the rest. So that's state dot view. So whatever is left for the view. Actually, yeah, we don't need to do this. It's just excuse me. It's just easier if there are like other properties that we don't really need to touch. We can just do that spread approach. That's at state. So we have view, which accepts open property, and also the selected. So view is open and selected. There you go, selected and open. We didn't actually really use the event there. I have no use for event, but it's something that is useful if we do ever have a need for it. And then we're gonna define handle list navigation item click. So we have the ellipses click. We have now the navigation item click. Here we're gonna make use of the event. So here we're gonna do view name event.target.dataset. This dot set state is again view, open is false, selected is the view name. Okay, let's save that, refreshed. Okay, good. So now we have the list navigation, calendar list navigation, and we have the list. The last one that we need to work on is the footer. So let's do that. The footer is just gonna be it's just something that I like to add at the end of the project that I worked on. It's just today's current date, and within the footer body, I just like to reference my website, some.dev. Here we just do today.get full year. Outside of that period, Ravi Yusan period. And for the style, here we do footer, margin, top bottom 40. For anchor, we do font size 12 pixels, color is a pound 50 50 50, font weight is bold, and then the hover, we make it black. Right, so now we can call that footer element here. So we can do import footer from footer and define that here. Now we have the footer. So if we scroll down, there you go. So now we can do the to-do style. Let's see, to-do, padding is 40 pixels, font family is Arial, Helvetica, sans serif, color is pound 323232, position is relative. Okay, to do, and then here let's move this at the top, and then do import dot slash index dot scss. Okay, so to fix this issue with the create new item, something that I just didn't or I overlooked was the this element. So I need to close that, and this has to be here. Remove that extra div. There we go. So yeah, earlier I made it so that it's within the create div, the new item input, but it's actually supposed to be a sibling of that. So that should be good. And some stuffs for cleanup, we just remove these things that we don't really need. This app CSS, we don't really need that. It's just base styling. You can just remove that. Index.css, app.css, and for finishing touches, we just can add some media queries. Max width 800 pixel. To do padding 20 pixels. Okay. For new item, so I already added that there, so that there's more, it's not too wide because of the padding. And then we can go to list navigation. Let's see here, we can do add media max width for 800 pixels. Tab list navigation top 20 pixel, right, 20 pixel. So that is the ellipses, the location of the ellipses. There you go. For list, let's see, list, we can do again add media, max width of 800 pixels. Dot list is going to be for in progress. We'd like the item and the edit input field to have a 0 padding, and then right outside of that, %-removed, okay, and dash item label padding is gonna be 2 pixel by 0 by 2 pixel by 20 pixels. Okay, so that it looks good on mobile. What else? I think that's about it. So now this should look good on desktop and on mobile for most modern browser. This should look great. So now if we test our app, you click an item, you mark that as completed, the first item, which is refresh, just so we can see again. So the workout for 30 minutes at the gym, if I mark this as complete, this should go to the completed array or list. So I should see that at the bottom. So remember, we have the build a modern to do app item in the default array and the default list of array. So we have build the completed item there. So that's why that's showing up as the first item. If we go back to in progress, add more items here. Let's say today we finished building our to do app. So congratulate self. Press enter. There you go. So now that got added at the end. Let's say I'd like to remove the clean the house and backyard. Say, you know, you already decided you're not gonna do that today. Remove. If you go to the remove array, remove list, there you go, there's that item. And if you decide, oh, I want to actually work on that, so we can just put that back, and that gets back to the in progress item. There we go. So yeah, that's this is a pretty simple and you know, it's a modern look for to do app that is built on React with Typescript, Figma. We used Figma here, and Create React App framework. So one last thing that I did forget to add is the functionality for the list navigation. Basically, when I click on the ellipses, right? If I click out right now, it doesn't dismiss it, and I would like that to happen by defining that through the click add event listener. So we can do that through here. So if we do component did mount, and in here we can do window that add event listener, and the event is click, and we can do this dot window click, and this window click, we're going to define that here. Window click is equal to this dot window click dot bind this. And another thing is focus. So when this page loads, I'd like the input field to be doing that, which is the create new item has to be focused. So we can do that here. So this dot focus new item, you can define that method, and we're gonna define that here at the top. So this dot focus new item equals this dot focus new item dot bind it with this, and then we're gonna define those methods. Focus new item is gonna be this dot new item input. If it exists, let's focus that, and then window click. Okay, we're gonna capture any event, so that we can find out this particular event. So this dot state dot view list navigation ellipses equals event dot target dot closest is dot list navigation ellipses. If that exists, right, for the event that got passed, if it originated from the ellipses. If not list navigation ellipses and it was open, this dot set state view, let's close it, open is false, and let's pass back the selected list navigation. There you go. Save this. All right, so that should pick up, the page should have picked that up. So open, click away, there you go. Open, click away. Even if I refresh the page again, there you go. So that's selected. Again, refresh, type something here, press return. Cool. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial video, and you know, it's a long video because it involves different parts, working with different components, switching back and forth between those components, and also using different technologies such as Figma, React, and Typescript. If you do have questions or encounter issues, please let me know in the comments, or you can also send me a message. You can go to my website. In the contact section, I have listed some ways for you to reach me. And yeah, I hope you had fun, and you know, you got something out of this video tutorial. Yes, and when you have time, please do subscribe to my channel. And thanks again for watching this video. Bye.